Welcome to Senior Insights. My name is Cynthia, and come on in and grab a seat. We get together every morning. It looks like it's nighttime here, but I just have the lights out, that's all. Just kidding, I usually record the day before, and I usually record in the morning, but this is early evening, late, well, around 6 o'clock. No, it's 7 o'clock. Oh, it's almost my bedtime. Because I was engrossed in watching television today. And also because I didn't feel well, the other day. I thought that I should try and pace my activities. But see, what I did was I put myself in a stressful situation. It's not too stressful. I'm not that stressed out. Where I want to make sure that there's a video for tomorrow. Now, some people have suggested to me that maybe I need to take a break. Maybe that's why I'm getting a little woozy. Not woozy, queasy. But I think that I'm actually doing fine. I have 2 videos that I'm in the process of preparing, but I just didn't have time today because I was engrossed in television. Maybe some of you were. There's a football game on. There was the celebration of Charlie Kirk's life, so you could have had your pick of whatever you wanted to watch. I actually had an opportunity to go over to Gay's son Kevin's house today. They were going to have ribs and they were going to have a party, a football party. But I just couldn't make it because my house is a mess. I did some cooking yesterday and I don't clean up after myself. Well, the problem was I didn't empty the dishwasher. So therefore, I had to leave dishes in the sink. So therefore, the fruit flies came back. Even though I've been pouring boiling water down there and I thought I had them under control for one day. As I'm filming this, I'm noticing, can you see my earrings? I don't know if you can tell, they're all glittery and stuff. This is for the first day of autumn. The autumnal equinox, is that what they call it? Anyway, I bought these at Martin's and they are not my type at all. But I said, I bet Senior Insights people would love it because they're pretty progressive in terms of, they're very stylish. They wear cherries in the red, cherries in the snow. Somebody, Deerheart Studios, told me that she has 2 tubes ordered, and one for herself, even though she doesn't wear lipstick, and one for the future when it becomes very popular. So she's either got the second one just in case she runs out, or to put it on her vintage shelf. So anyway, so needless to say, I'm not prepared. So I do have a few things in mind, and of course I had to yak, show you my earrings. I'm making chicken soup right now, and I was going to film it for you, and I said, you know what? They don't need to see how you make chicken soup because everybody makes chicken soup. But I'm looking over to my left and I see this birthday card that I received from my friend Gay. And hopefully you won't be offended by it. It's not, well, it's not a nicey nice card, but it's not a dirty card or anything. But it says, I now know how it will end for us. One of our kids will unplug us so they can charge their phone. They will unplug the life support so they can charge their phone, their cell phone. That's how we're going to go. Our kids are going to just unplug the plug. Well, you have to give them permission to do that, They can't just unplug the plug. And it's a whole process because I've been through it. And it's not a very pleasant thing to do for those of you who have been through it, and I'm sure that many of you have. So, I'm at a loss for words. I won't even tell you this. Last night I was sleeping and I was in a dead sleep. Don't you like the way I say, last night I was sleeping? Well, isn't that what you're supposed to do when you sleeping last night, but the dog started barking in the middle of the night. She very rarely does that. And I ignored her, and I ignored her, and I ignored her, and finally she shut up. This morning I figured out why. More trash on the porch. I put it out yesterday just because I was cleaning the floor where I had the trash bag. It was only supposed to be for a minute. You should see it. I'm embarrassed. I'm not even going to film it. I thought about it. I said, oh, they'll get a big kick out of this one, but it's pretty bad. Like, it's really bad. Now I told you I was going to make you look at those sunflowers every day until they were gone, so I'm going to get them. There is a major drawback with these sunflowers, which I'm sorry to say they're infested with fruit flies, or those gnats or whatever they are. But anyway, you can see, look at them. Look at how gorgeous they are. And they're opening up a little bit more every day. I don't want them to open up too much because I don't want them to die on me. You know? That is like a sunflower, isn't it? Just what you imagine a sunflower would be. And then we have this one. Don't you love it that I still can't figure this? Okay, I told you I would do my in-service by peeking through like this. I'm not going to because the fruit flies are buzzing around. They're not bad though once I moved it. So anyway, so now you've seen the sunflowers. That should cheer you up for the whole day. You don't need to listen to me chatting all day long. I don't like the way they look. Did I tell you that? Yeah, somebody didn't even know what Cherries in the Snow was. But I noticed there's a whole new movement going. So that's a good thing, because someone else bought it. I still haven't figured out the Amazon thing. One of the other things that I was thinking of doing is, since I haven't done an art show in quite a while, I thought that I would briefly show you some of my bird pictures. Now, when I say briefly, one never knows, because I think that I don't have anything to talk about, and then I just blabber on for a half an hour. You don't have to listen to me for a whole half hour. I'll be mad at you, though, if you don't. So, I guess since I'm going to show you birds, the first one I'll show you is a feather. Can you see it? Not too great. Let's see if I wrote any notes. Failed barn owl feather. Don't you love my critique? Someone told me that I was too critical of myself in the last video or yesterday's video. And I know that I am, and that's something that I have to work on. We all have to work on that because we don't think we're good enough. We don't think what we do is good enough. What we say isn't good enough. What the kind of book we read isn't the right kind. You know, we have all kinds of things that we don't feel like we're good enough for. Well, of course we're good enough for. We are just ingrained. It's in our brains from childhood, whatever we went through, and all of us interpret things differently. So some of us have poor self-esteem. I know you would never think that of me. That goes along with what I was saying about not being able to smile for pictures. Look back, there was one video that I did that I talked all about looking at this face and about smiling and what I thought was different about it. So I'm going to start kind of hitting on those original videos. I mean, doctoring them up a bit, modernizing them, because they've been out now for almost a year. I forget how many there actually are. Okay, next bird. This is another failed attempt at an owl. Whoops. Ah! Oh my goodness, I can't do this stuff. What am I trying to do? This is another failed attempt at an owl. It doesn't look too bad from a distance, does it? Here's another owl. I totally give up on painting owls. What was I just talking about? Poor self-esteem, being self-critical. I think it's really kind of neat to see what you were thinking of when you finished it, what you thought of it. And what I have found in showing you folks is they're not as bad as some of them are not as bad as what I had originally thought. I forgot to tell you that I didn't have any coffee. I mean, I'm not having coffee because it's the evening, so I'm having decaf tea because some of us have issues with sleeping, which we're going to talk about in one of the next 2 days. It's one of the videos I'm preparing, so stay tuned and you better show up or don't be sleeping when I'm trying to do a video. Okay, so I can show you these. I think I might have showed you these. These are autumn pictures. Gosh. Can you see that? Those are oak leaves and acorns. Now I'm going to flip it over and there's a maple leaf. Because we're getting into the foliage weather. Someone asked me if I would do a video on the foliage when it's foliage season, and I absolutely will, because it's absolutely gorgeous here in the fall, and it doesn't last long. You know, it's like you have like 1 week of peak foliage, and then it's gone. Okay. I think this is a kingfisher, and I didn't critique it, but it was a bird with the in the water. See the shadow? It's not bad. Gosh, I wish I could do this better. I don't think it's too bad, though. What do you think? Can you tell that there's this bird in the shadow? I mean, in the reflection of the bird in the water. Do you think I speak much? Here's a woodpecker. Beautiful. I didn't make any snarky comments on it. I don't know what kind of bird that is. You tell me. It's unrecognizable. But it's kind of cute. But it's certainly not card material. But you folks should take up watercolor painting. Oh, I know what I can do at the end of this video. We have a club member who does diamond paintings, and I will post those. The other thing that I meant to update you with is Jonah. Remember the pictures that I used to put at the end of when we had the scoop? Which, that's not totally buried yet, but I just, as you can tell, I'm having a little bit of a struggle. But who wouldn't have a little bit of a struggle? At least 1 video a day, and then sometimes 2. I just might have to shut you off. The thing is I don't mind it. I really like it a lot. But I can tell. See, when you commit to 7 videos a week, then you really should do them. I believe in you complete your commitments. You don't fib. Oh, this is a riot. Look at this one. This is a pheasant. And my note on it says, they just keep getting worse and worse. Oh, my goodness. And this is a nuthatch. I like this one. It's not bad. Can you tell it's a nuthatch? Don't tell me if you can't, because my feelings will be hurt. Only I can critique them. Oh, some of these I've showed you before, but I'm trying to find the birds because I know there's more. Ah, here they are. Bluebird. I like that one, and there's no notes on it. I must have been trying to ease up on myself. Cardinal. I kind of like this one, even though the shape of his head is a little off, or maybe it's the body. But you know what? It is an original piece of work of art. When I just said that, I could see my mother. She would do something like, "It's a work of art." She used to make a meal and she'd say, "Aren't I a good cook?" She was awesome. But I noticed that I have a few of those little expressions. Chickadees, the Maine state bird. Chickadees on a pine tree. A loon. It's not perfect, but it's okay. From a distance, it even gets better. Let's see if there's any more. No, that's it. That's it for the birds in this book. I have tons of other things that I'm going to show you. You'll just have to watch, just a few at a time so you don't... How many of you have already hung up? One of the comments says, "Cynthia, I really like your show." And I said, "Well, I'm really glad that you recognize that it's a show. It's a TV show." And we have a lot of fun on this TV show. I'm going to introduce a game at some point. I'm not into games and I'm not into gimmicks and stuff. But have I got a gimmick for you that we're going to try? If it doesn't work, it doesn't work, right? You don't gain anything by not trying. I've been reading my Bible every day. I would recommend, anyone who's interested in learning more about what's in the Bible to read it every day, because I'm having a hard time putting it down. So you might find the same thing. What I'm doing now, you're going to think I'm crazy, but I was raised a Catholic, and we didn't really do too much with the Bible as a Catholic that I recall. We used to have a missal that had prayers and some of the Gospels in it. But anyway, I was having this discussion with someone that I'm very close to, who was a Catholic, and she goes to another church that I like the church very much. They do a lot of singing and praising God that way, and it's very nice. Everybody gets into it. And I said, "Well, I think I'm going to go to St. Joseph's." And this person got really kind of upset with me because St. Joseph's is obviously Catholic. Well, that's what I was raised as a Catholic. So I figured, I am interested in pursuing my faith with more vim and vigor than I have. So I am going to test out a few things. Well, she says, "Do you know that they don't even believe in the Bible? They have a Bible, but it's not for the parishioners to read." And I said, "Oh, really? Who told you that?" Well, her father-in-law told her that, and her aunt, who prays every day for her return to the Catholic Church. This is not a religious conversation. This is something that, I'm just sharing with you what's going on in my life. So I said to myself, I have tons of Bibles floating around here. Most of them are the King James. But I have one Catholic Bible. So I said, I'm just going to see what is different about this. What's the big hoopla? The Bible was this big, just like the King James. This particular version that I have is pretty old. It's from the 50s. 60s. So I don't know if there's been a revised one or not. But this is the challenge that I set to myself. I am going to read one book For example, I'm going to read Genesis in the Catholic Bible, and then I'm going to read Genesis in the King James Bible. And then I am going to make my own decision. Then I'm going to go to the next chapter in the Catholic Bible. Isn't it Exodus? And then I'm going to do Exodus. So I'm going to do like a side-to-side comparison. But I was telling one of my other friends who she was a Catholic. She's presently attending a Baptist church, and I was telling her about this conversation that I had about the Catholic Bible versus the King James Bible. And she said, well, I can tell you exactly what the different books. So she lists to me the different books that are not in the Catholic Bible. Actually, there's more in the Catholic Bible than the King James Bible. I think that's the way I understood she said it, but don't quote me on that. And she was very well learned. So we toyed with the idea of maybe starting, like a group to talk about some of these kinds of things. So that's as far as I've gotten, but I was telling you that I have been reading the Bible, and I've been going to Mass every day on TV, because I want to, when I do anything, except when I did YouTube, I do a lot of research on it. I try to be educated in what I'm doing. I know it doesn't seem that way sometimes, but I just want to get the best information that I can. So there. So I'm really, really excited that I've actually followed through on it for quite some time. And I'm excited about these earrings. I can't remember if I told you I got them or not, but they just celebrate autumn. I think I told you about it. That was another thing that my mother would do. She would say, they're to celebrate autumn. I'm telling you, I can see when I look, I was going to say when I look in the mirror. No, it's when I'm videoing and I'm talking and I'm animated and stuff. I can see so many different faces. It's kind of cool. But like I said, I cannot take a decent picture of myself, and neither can anyone else. I've never seen a decent picture because I can't smile. So anyway, well, that's enough about that. So I want you to stay tuned because I have 2 videos that I've actually planned, but I haven't finalized. I want to make sure that, see, I do pretty much everything off the cuff. I mean, I just talk, in case you haven't noticed. But I want to make sure that I'm educated enough to talk about it. Talk about what I'm going to talk about, and there's a couple of good things that I'm going to talk about. You'll have to wait. You'll have to come back and see. The other thing I've noticed, and I think I said it at one of the board meetings or sometime, the weekend videos, even the board meeting and the Sunday videos, don't get anywhere near the views that other videos do. So that tells me that people are busy. Going to church, reading the Bible, watching the football game. They're probably not that interesting. Although I think the board meetings are pretty good, So a few people slapped my hand for the driving videos. Don't give me any feedback on those. I almost knocked those flowers over. I'm going to go now. I'm going to see you tomorrow. Excuse this video. I know it's not the best, but it's me. I will see you in the morning.